G'day guys, welcome to my RX Flyers feature video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about Hyundai Aleague for week 21's recap for 2020 guys, so let's get started. So the first match of this round, we see the Sydney FC going up against the Western Sydney Wanderers. Now, this game was absolutely interesting. Sydney FC can have a lot of different difficulties. I like how the way Sydney FC just brings that talent to that squad. Troisi and how the way other players are. Sydney FC are a very interesting team. I like Reece Grant and how the way he's obviously brought to that interesting squad. But then really what I can say about this match is I like how the way that this game is an absolutely great game. But still, it's just how the way that you want to justify for the Sydney FC. But then really what I can say about this match is I like how the way that this game can bring a lot of tension and a lot of fight. But for this game though, Sydney FC are a very good team, but they obviously lost. So this is their second loss of in a row. But then for the Western Sydney Wanderers though, Mitchell Duke only scored, and it obviously was 1-0 for that scoreline. And Western Sydney Wanderers are an absolutely great team, and for them to beat the best team in the comp like Sydney FC, I cannot believe that Sydney FC lost and Western Sydney Wanderers won, because Mitchell Duke only scored for that goal, and he was an absolutely great player to just have that energy and formation right. But then I like how the way that this game was an absolutely great game, and just seeing this game, it was obviously a very interesting team. But then to justify it was just how the way you want to experience that. But then I like how the way that this game was an obviously great game too. But for Western Sydney Wanderers though, they obviously won up against Sydney FC, and I like how the way they improved very well. The next game of this round, we see the Newcastle Jets going up against the Perth Glory side. Really what I can say about this match is I just like how the way that this game was an absolutely brilliant matchup. Finally, Newcastle Jets obviously won that game. I wasn't really expecting that Newcastle Jets obviously can win a game. I thought they were going to lose up against Perth Glory, and I thought Perth Glory were going to win that game. But Neil Kilkenny obviously scored one goal. Nikolai Topor-Stanley obviously scored one, and Roy O'Donovan obviously scored one, which made 2-1 the scoreline. And really for the Newcastle Jets, I like how the way they formate pretty well. And for this team, Newcastle Jets were very terrible into that off-season, but I just think they're going to improve very well, and I just don't think that they're going to lose every single game, because for this club, I just think they're going to have a brilliant season, and I reckon that they're going to have a brilliant off-season. But for the Perth Glory side, I like how the way that this team obviously is an absolutely great team to watch. Risden is an absolutely great player. I think he does play for the Perth Glory side, I'm not too sure. But I know for a fact that Neil Kilkenny obviously scored for that team anyway. And really what I can say about this match is I like how the way they re-justify for this match. They can improve very well. I reckon Newcastle Jets will have a better season for this year, and I think they'll improve very well. But if they don't, I reckon they'll probably fall back on the 16th or 15th ladder, which can see that the Central Coast Mariners might go on top of that 15 ladder anyway. But then I like how the way they are, and it was a 2-1 scoreline, and I just think they'll find themselves improving very well anyway. The next game of this round, we see the Melbourne Victory going up against the Adelaide United. Really what I can say about this match, obviously I like how the way they formate pretty well, and for this club though, I just think how the way they're going to justify and how the way they're going to have that pre-season very well. I just think Melbourne Victory aren't a very good team, but they've won up against the Adelaide United, and for this club to obviously think through how the way they want to like lead against this team is obviously a very good match for this club. But it was a 2-1 scoreline, and I just think Adelaide United are a very average looking team that just doesn't improve very well. Excuse me. But for this club though, it's just going to take time to re-justify and how the way you want to like have your pre-season very well. But then really what I can say about this match, I like how the way that this team can re-justify like pretty well. Adelaide United are a very good team, but like for a couple of players that just doesn't improve very well, I just don't think that it's going to take time for them to re-justify for their skills. But for their formation and how the way they improve very well, it's going to take time, and it's going to take like a couple of like lessons and training to pretty much know what you want to do. But for their skills and for their team anyway, I like how the way that Adelaide United are a very good team, because they are a hard team to beat, but sometimes they do lose anyway. But for the Melbourne Victory, it's just going to take time for them to obviously improve very well, but they are a great team, and they just don't have that energy and speed very well. But for Traore, he is an absolutely great player, but I don't see him improving very well. But it was a 2-1 scoreline, and yeah, well done to Melbourne Victory anyway. The next game of this round, we see the Western United going up against the Central Coast Mariners. Okay, let me just get this clear. Central Coast Mariners just had an absolute embarrassing look, and like for this scoreline, 6 points to 2, absolutely crazy. And for this club though, they are just terrible. They don't improve very well. They don't have that energy pretty well. They don't have class. They only have like working hard, and then obviously they keep fighting, but then they lose it. So it's just going to take time for them. But for this team though, it's just absolutely like appalling for them to see like losing every single time. But then for this game, I like how the way that Western United are a very good team. They sometimes lose, but they get a benefit of the doubt and obviously like win a game into that next round. But Bessa Brisha, Andrew Durant, and Max Burgess obviously... No, hang on. Bessa Brisha obviously scored 1. Andrew Durant obviously scored 1. But then Max Burgess obviously scored 3 goals to make it 6-2. But then I'm not too sure who else scored for that team anyway. But then, really what I can say about this match is I like how the way that Western United can be a very good team. But then it was obviously like a rematch, because Central Coast Mariners obviously played Western United, and then like it goes from there, and then it switches, and obviously it plays for that team. But then, really what I can say about this match, I like how the way that Central Coast Mariners are having like very talented players, but they don't improve very well. They need to improve very well if they want to absolutely like win games of football. But obviously not, because they keep losing all the time, and each team they obviously play for, they obviously lose. Because I can understand if they lose up against Sydney FC, because Sydney FC is obviously like the world's like best team like in the comp. For any other team though, say for instance like Perth Glory or Western United, they obviously lose anyway. But then Western United though, they are a very good team, and they are just a very great team to obviously watch anyway. But it was a 6-2 scoreline, and obviously well done to the Western United anyway for winning up against the Central Coast Mariners anyway. And finally, the next game of this round, we see the Melbourne City going up against the Brisbane Roar. Now, this game was obviously a very clean match, and for Melbourne City, they are a very, very entertaining team, and I like how the way that Jamie McLaren, he is an absolutely great player, but I didn't see him obviously score for this match. It was a 1-0 scoreline, and Jamie Young only scored for that team anyway to make it 1-0. But for the Brisbane Roar side, I just don't think that they are a very entertaining team. But then sometimes though, I know that they obviously like lose and then win. But then sometimes they obviously do win. But then really what I can say about this match, I like how the way that this club can be a very good team. But then sometimes though, if you want to look at how the way you obviously want to like score goals and then obviously like save goals. But it's going to be a matter of time for the Brisbane Roar to obviously make that talent a very good like game. But for the Brisbane Roar side, I just like how the way they obviously formate pretty well. They play a very good game, but sometimes they obviously play difficult, and then obviously they don't play a very interesting game. But for the Melbourne City though, I like how the way that Jamie McLaren is a definite great player, and he's my favourite player that I really like. And I just think for this club to have Jamie McLaren, I just don't think that he should have another contract to go into another club. Melbourne City, he needs to suit that squad, and I'll recommend like if he goes and just keeps into that squad for that team for a couple of years, I just think he's going to improve very well. So it obviously was like a 1-0 scoreline, and obviously Jamie Young scored, and well done to the Melbourne City anyway for winning up against the Brisbane Roar anyway. Thanks guys for watching my video guys. Stay tuned for more. I will be doing a couple of videos coming to you guys soon. Also I'll be doing more videos coming to you guys soon, so stay tuned for more. Plus leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and for this gift video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Until then, take care guys, stay safe and have a good one.